Welcome to Brunch and Conversation, a virtual recap. We got everyone together so that we could talk about how we're all coping with COVID-19 and some other great topics. Check it out. Welcome, guys, to Brunch and Conversation, a virtual recap. I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I want to thank Chelsea and Cedric and BJ and Shalay and Daryl. Welcome, guys. Wanted to also say, unfortunately, we are not able to have Spivey with us today. A few days before the airing of the first episode, she had a tragic accident and passed away. And so, unfortunately, she won't be able to be with us. But I do want to say that we really appreciated her spirit and all of the great things that she had to contribute to our conversation. She's definitely a light. And from the short time that I got to know her, I really enjoyed her. And so we want to definitely take this time to send our condolences out to her family, her loved ones and friends, those who knew her and loved her well. And we want to take this moment to have a moment of silence for Spivey. Rest well and have an angel. So how are you guys holding up with all this COVID-19 quarantine? Stay in your house, stay at home, don't go anywhere.
I like it. I'm good with it. I didn't realize I had been practicing it like for the last 10 years, but when I do my master plan, it's like 10 days isolation. So other than just being able to just go eat out, I haven't really missed too much. I can be productive at home. So
well, you know, we hanging in there. Trying to be mindful. The first month I snacked like a crazy person. So I said, let me get my life together before they have to enroll me on a 600-pound life story. So, you know, I'm enjoying being at home. We typically live a really, really busy life. So I've enjoyed the break. I just miss going out to eat with my friends. And I miss working because I love what I do, you know, and I miss the camaraderie that comes along with my job. So yeah, but other than that, we're healthy, we're happy, you know, we're not lacking anything. So, you know, no legitimate complaints.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying time. I feel like it was needed. For me, I just been resting, spending a lot of time in reflecting in prayer. I feel like for me, I'm used to just always being on the go, and so just having time to just kind of just sit with some things was like very necessary for me. So yeah, I just been in prayer, reading a lot. I feel like God's been revealing a lot to me in this time, so it's been really, really, really a beautiful experience for me, to say the least.
Awesome, good to hear.
I've been doing, every day is different, honestly. Every day is different. Some days I'm ready to go, I'm productive, you know, I start my mornings off really well, and then I'm tired because I've been productive and doing what I can, but then other days I want to be lazy and not do anything, and it took me a while to feel okay about that, to not feel like I had to do something, because honestly, you know, being productive is good, but I'm trying to be more about focusing on what I can do right now rather than what I'm doing to prepare for the future, because we all prepared for this future that we're in right now, but not the pandemic. So it's like anything can happen. So really, I'm just trying to keep my mind and my mentality consistent with the changes that happen every minute. So that's I think the quarantine is helping me do that. Be more patient. That's what it's been helping me with.
Definitely. I think I was having that same thing with just like trying to figure out, you know, do I wreck my mind trying to like be as productive as possible, or do I take this time to really rest and recharge? And I think finding that balance has been the best thing for me.
So is it my turn? I've been working. I don't know what the hell y'all been doing. I've been out and about. I've been working, handing out food for the families at the schools. I still got my class. So only thing, I've been out. I've been getting my son. I don't know what the hell y'all been doing.
Your hair.
I can't, I don't really, my hair, the beard, I don't care about none of that. Like going out to eat, I don't really eat out like that. I don't really like crowds. So this is right up my alleyway. The freeways are free. The streets are free.
Man.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. The only thing that's been difficult is the distance learning with the kids. But fuck them.
The kids.
Yeah, fuck them kids. That's my favorite hashtag. What? Fuck them kids.
No, I mean, I'm glad to hear that you all are doing well. I think more than anything, this COVID-19 experience has really helped everyone either slow down or take some time to see that maybe they've been too slow. And, finding different ways to be productive or just to be healthy and find the perfect balance for them. So switching gears, I wanted to talk about, the show and how excited I was to have the episodes air and everyone finally see, what we talked about. I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of people that inboxed me, sent me emails saying how grateful they were that we discussed some of the topics that we did, particularly about parents and your upbringing and how a lot of that can affect your dating life without you even really acknowledging it, and opening up those conversations and just about vulnerability and where we are today. So, I guess my question would be for you guys, what or how did Brunch and Conversation help you if
I feel like for me, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Ladies first. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. It definitely helped me to just be more open. I tend to be very strong in my convictions about what I think and feel and believe. But that doesn't mean that somebody else's perspective can't be right, or can't be explored. Just being more open, being more willing to communicate, being willing still to stick by my deal breakers, the things I can handle, things I cannot handle, and not settling, for the sake of making somebody else comfortable. I just enjoyed the overall camaraderie with everybody. It was refreshing to be a part of. It was refreshing to reflect on and watch. And just listen. Just you can learn if you listen.
That's true. Cedric, let's hear from you.
It was I feel like Brunch and Conversations helped me in the same regards to Peaches, like, let my guard down and get, just be a little more open to, which I am. I love hearing other perspectives and viewpoints, and I feel like that's often what keeps us fresh, is hearing different viewpoints and understanding different viewpoints and seeing different perspectives and different experiences. So it was really cool to get around a group of just different individuals who all have different experiences. And I learned a lot, and even on certain things that I thought, I was just like, maybe I should look at that different with a lot of things. So it was beautiful, just connecting and understanding and sharing experiences.
Awesome. Daryl, what about you?
I think the thing I learned was I've been in a bubble. And so to have people around me who I was interested in their opinions, and to hear how some were similar, some were different. I think Peaches and BJ, they both said things that stood out to me, that I kind of have been carrying into life just daily. One was just basically how men see women that they're not related to versus how women we are related to. And then I remember BJ said something. I remember as he was saying it, the process was happening. He was like, yo, ask the women around you how men treat them. And I was I had the thought, how he treats her has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? That's between them. And then he said, because we all have mothers, sisters, grandmothers, aunts. And I was like, oh, you talking about those women. And it was crazy for me because I was like, oh, so you separate them. You one of those guys. There's them and there's us. and then realizing that you can't go through life like that because every girl is somebody's us. So I think that was one of the things that, like, I was like, yo, I really us and them is like, I gotta check myself. So I've definitely been I've been a lot more cognizant of that just going forward. So that's been dope to see people in that light versus like you haven't gotten into my circle yet, so you can like be treated whatever kind of way.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I've been reading this book that's talked about relational intelligence and how everyone has, you know, an importance and value. It's just about how you place them in your lives. And so I think it's really dope that you were able to get that from BJ and really implement and take it forward. BJ, what about you?
I will say kudos to everybody because, and I hate to go in there with a prejudgment, but what I was hoping did not happen is that we stay on the same social media timeline type of topics. You know what I mean? Like, because we all got the questions and the topics or whatever. But I'm like, I hope this doesn't go the way of like how people talk on Twitter or on Instagram in the comments. And I was really appreciative of the fact that we actually really did take the conversations to a mature level, and everybody was really in depth with their answers and very vulnerable. I appreciated everybody for doing that because I hate getting on panels and things like that, and we just talk about the same surface type of topics, but we never dive into and then it turned into Mars and Venus and man versus women and God. Nah. So I one of the biggest things I took away from that was everybody really got in depth. They looked within themselves without necessarily finger pointing at the opposite sex or a significant other or whatever they were talking about, and it really gave an introspective, like what they were talking about, what they experienced, and conveying that in a way that wasn't, spitting venom at people. And we didn't get to the Twitter shit. So that was the biggest thing I took away. And I really do appreciate that because it's dope to be around people that can reflect without, spitting fire at others. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's important, as being able to have conversations and have different viewpoints without getting personal, without personal attacks, without getting defensive, without taking it to a negative space. And I think it's important that we show that that's possible, so that people can in turn do that in their own daily lives.
And we can get in depth with a conversation too, you know what I mean? Without that, we can get really in depth. That was probably the dopest part. Like everybody got in depth. That was my favorite part of it. Even with, on top of the not getting at people wrong. Getting in depth was super dope. I like the way the conversations went, even without guidance of it. We just went there. That was dope.
It was very organic. I really love that. And that's really what I wanted to happen. Mostly it was for us to talk candidly about things, and wherever the conversation took us, for us to dive deep and vulnerably go there. And so I think we really accomplished that with this episode. And I think it really is going to set the precedent for the next episodes that come forward, the guests that come on. They know that this is a space where it's going to be real. We're going to be real. We're going to dive deep, and we're going to respect each other in that space. And so I think that's really important. After watching yourself, though, what do you think
thank you
possibly learned about yourself after watching?
Sorry.
I learned to just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And, I think for me, a lot of times I'm reserved, and a lot of times I'll keep my opinion to myself. But even during this reflective time, guys have been telling me to like unmute myself and, just say what you need to say and voice your opinion. So it was cool to see me in that space where I was vulnerable and, in a crowd of strangers, to be able to, share my feelings. So it was interesting and cool to see myself do that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that I'm very country.
You're very what?
What?
Controlling?
Country.
Country.
I was watching.
Yeah.
We love that about you, though. We love that.
Yeah.
We love it.
I said, I know she can cook some baked beans.
I have turned into Chef Boy RC. We be cooking, Lord Jesus. I just enjoyed it. I like talking to people. I like hearing different perspectives, and I just, like I said, I enjoy watching it back. Like even if I hadn't been a part, I would have still enjoyed it. You know. So it was just good. And I was just grateful. I'm still grateful to be a part. Thank you, Tiffany.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. What about you, Daryl? What did you learn after looking at yourself and seeing?
I don't think I really looked at myself when I was watching it. I kind of watched everybody else because I kind of knew what I did. But I think that's kind of the same thing for my other answer. I just learned that I was operating in a weird space, but I was also realizing that like that whole bubble thing, like these aren't these situations aren't normal for me. These people aren't like normally the people that are in my life. So hearing these stories, and I read a book. Well, I listened to a book of this whole quarantine thing called Heaven, and it was so dope. But at the same time, I felt like I don't know that guy. But I got to step into their shoes and kind of go on this like 6-7 hour journey with this guy via the book. And that's how I felt there. Like I was like, oh, I'm seeing situations that I would never, or I have never been a part of. So I think for me, I got to be like a voyeur in my own life while watching it, basically.
Wow. Wow. DJ, what about you?
I can't necessarily say that I learned much about myself. I can't say, I don't know. I don't think because I spent a lot of time, same thing like Daryl, like I watched everybody else mainly. I know what I said. I know BNC had some sidebar going on with some jokes.
A little flirtation. I got a lot of people.
Not
What was that? There was a
flirtation.
little chemistry between those two. I said, oh, hey, I bring people.
I wasn't flirting. I'm not flirting. Not that. See, you were amazingly gorgeous. Not to take anything away from you, but you know, I'm a goofball. You know what I mean? Like I'm always got sidebars. So I was looking at that like, yeah, you got to keep your mouth shut sometimes. But you know, the jokes tell themselves sometimes. So I don't know. I didn't really learn too much about myself. I watched everybody else and learned from that. Took everybody's opinions in their views in. So I didn't really learn too much about myself. And another thing for me is like because I'm an educator, I'm around 200 kids a day anyway, so I'm always listening to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I can't say that in my listening ear, all I got to do is damn listen because I got kids snot nosed in my face. You know what I mean? So it's really just back to that, reinforcing my listening exercises, I guess.
Awesome. Now, was it weird? Now, some of you knew each other, but majority of you didn't. Was it weird having to open up that way in front of strangers, or do you think that helps the process with getting you to open up?
It helps the process. I just feel like as adults, we should be able to communicate in front of anybody. You know, if there's a conversation, let's talk. I don't have nothing to hide. You shouldn't have. We grown. You know what I mean? Like we've all had tons of different experiences. Yours different from mine different from the next person's, but in a safe environment where there's no judgment, there should be no fear in sharing because we all got something and we can learn from each other. You can learn from my mistakes. You know, I can learn from your experiences. Mine are going to be different from yours, and yours could shine a light on mine to make me look at things different. You know, so I just feel like it's a healthy thing to do. Definitely do more often.
I agree. I definitely agree.
And I think with these type of platforms, it's important for us to teach people communication. Like I know growing up, like I said, for me, that wasn't taught. Like healthy, effective communication, you know, to talk about your feelings or to be able to have differences. And like, you know, so it's important that we, you know, teach people with this kind of platform.
I feel like that I learned listening to you say effective communication. Like I'm learning this year a lot. Effective communication could just be listening, like literally saying nothing. Because it's like I feel like, yeah, you just let people talk sometimes, and I feel like a lot of times recently, like they don't just let them talk. Like it's not even if you comprehend it or if you can relate or if you can like lend an opinion to it. Sometimes it's just like, oh, okay. Because there was some stuff I was listening to that I was like, yo, I don't know what to say to this. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just going to let you have this moment and then I'm going to step away with it. And I may like process it later on down the line. It might mean something. But in this moment, I'm visually saying, thank you for sharing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanna hit Chalet. I'm sorry.
Come on, Zach.
Everybody, raise
Are
the
we?
camera,
Is
raise the
Come on, Zach. Let's
is
hear
my
it.
internet okay?
hit the reset button.
What was the question again?
Uh,
What did you learn about yourself?
What's the question again? Tiff? Oh, what did I learn about myself?
If anything, maybe you didn't.
Oh, that I do have something to say, and it don't sound crazy. I know how to articulate. I always felt like was what measured my ability to be able to communicate with people, but that's not the case at all. Literally, talking to people is what evolved my communication. Talking to people and being self-aware, and we both have something to say, and theirs may be important. My understanding, I think all of us, that we want to be heard. We need to be heard, even if we don't think we do. Because like Daryl said, he learned some things from BJ and Peaches and C. He felt like he was able to be bold in his communicating. So that's what I learned. Like, it's okay. It's okay to talk to people.
Awesome. I love that. We're coming to a last few minutes of our conversation here, our virtual recap. And I know we talked about some cool things and got into some things I really wanted to, encourage other people when I do reach out to them to want to do this. And I'm assuming that you would recommend others to do this because you've done it yourself. Or maybe not. Maybe after doing it, you're like, no, this is terrible. I don't think that was the case for any of you. But, if you all could all give at least maybe one or two things as to why you would, if you were to say someone, hey, like you should really do this because XYZ.
I'll go. For the question previously, the vulnerability aspect, was it hard? No, that's the whole premise of my platform in itself. And opening up in front of strangers, what I've realized is everybody has a story right now. The experiences may differ slightly, but the themes are always similar. So when we brought up men being overly aggressive, all the women hopped up. Girl, I got a million stories. Mm-hmm. And all it takes is one person to say, in a strange room, that these niggas out here too aggressive. I was just down the street at the gas station. All of a sudden, every woman to perk up like, you know what I mean? And that's what makes it easier for me to just open up. Like, listen, whatever day I'm having, and I walk into a room full of strangers and I just start talking about it. It just makes it so easy because I know people have had something similar happen to them. Maybe the details are different. And Daryl said something, and I always tell my students is that the most important part of communicating is listening. Right. If you can't listen, you cannot communicate. And
not listen to respond, but listen.
Listen. So I was about to get to that point, right? And a lot of us are not. You have to practice active listening. Mm-hmm. We are not good listeners at all. Like we're terrible at it. So I implement this in my class. Like we do listening exercises because, again, we just suck. And it's not like you grow up and all of a sudden become a great listener. No, you have to work at it. Somebody has to teach you that. So I'm glad Dee said that because that was really dope. And yeah, I recommend people to do it. Fuck it, I like watching other people.
Awesome.
Easy.
I would say that I would definitely recommend this for people because we're in this phase of life as a whole where it's okay to go to therapy now. It's not so taboo anymore. And there are resources available. But for me, and I know this has been to other people, like when I moved here, I don't know, for whatever reason, it was just hard to find a new therapist, or they would be all booked up, or it was just always something. So even just that hour or however long we spent together, being able to speak on things and get it out was really helpful for me personally. And I feel like it was helpful for everyone. So I would definitely encourage other people like, hey, this is an opportunity to be with unbiased, objective people. Some some you may not know at all, where you can hear different opinions, because honestly, the therapists aren't there to give us the answer. to give us the answer. They're there to help us see the answer, see the whole answer, and not just parts. And I think that's what we all make up. We make up a whole with the different. We're the members of one body, but yeah, we make up the whole part, and that's what I would encourage people. That's why I would encourage people to join Brunch and Conversations, to get that access to finding out who people are and who you are.
I love that.
I second that.
I love it. Anyone else?
I would encourage someone to do it simply because staying in your own safe world with your safe friends and safe conversations will never be an outlet for you to grow. It's impossible to grow that way. And in order to grow mentally, sometimes it's good to just surround yourself with people who may think differently than you, and hearing them out, and just exploring other ways of processing things, other perspectives, seeing things potentially in a way that you've never seen them before, and being willing to admit that you're not always right.
That's a big one. I like that.
Period.
I was just gonna say I definitely recommend this because I feel like I don't know what I'm saying, like how people use friends and acquaintances, but I feel like I tapped into like 5 dope humans that I didn't know. Even more than that, and then you had the good brunch, but it also just gave you like an opportunity. Because I always say this, I heard T.I. said in the song, he said you get courage from fear right after you go through it. So it gave a space where if you're not into public speaking, if you're not into like sharing openly, if you've never seen it done successfully, if you've never felt like the only time you could do it is during like an argument or whatever, it just shows you like, oh, wait, I could sit here with people who have different understandings than me, or live different lives than me, or live in different parts of the city than me. And wow, we could all sit here and again, I think it's a great exercise in the power of listening if you come into it and just listen. So yeah, I would definitely recommend anybody that's getting an invite to this. You definitely a special person. Might as well seize that opportunity.
All day.
I wanted to say before we end, there's a game you can download the PDF version. It's a card game. I don't know if you guys followed the account on Instagram called We're Not Really Strangers. And it's a really good, it's really, really good. You can do it. They obviously, let me be quiet. She must have the game.
Yes.
Yes. So they had the PDF version, the quarantine edition PDF. I downloaded it and, it's on your phone, but you can play like on Zoom or if you're having, your quarantine moment with whoever. Just wanted to put that out there for you guys, something to do or whatever.
It's dope. It's called We're Not Really Strangers, and it has 3 different levels. I mean, I hate to just do a shameless plug for them, but like, they're not paying me, but it's like and you go through it, and then they have these like dig deeper cards. So like if you get into something and you want to go a little bit deeper, you can do that too. But I think it's really dope. I bought it. I've used it at least twice so far, and both times the conversation has gone deep and very personal.
Do you feel like you could do it virtually?
You're muted. What'd you say? You gotta unmute. Hold on. What? Say it again.
Bring them over my house.
I did bring it over your house. We gonna play for sure. But yeah, no, that's great that you brought that up because like I'm an advocate for it as well, and I think it's dope.
Yeah, you can definitely play it virtually. I don't know if Daryl or BJ asked that question. You could just have the PDF, leave it on your phone, and then you just like hold it up to your friend. It's very easy and it's very user friendly. But just make sure all your squad is emotionally available. You don't want to talk to no brick walls because then you'll just be like, this game is boring. I don't know. So
yeah, and I think that again, when you recommend people for this, I think that's really one of the biggest things too, is that you got to be ready to do it. not only listen, but be ready to be open and vulnerable and learn. So again, I thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. I can't say it enough. You guys really mean a lot to me, especially being my first guest on the show. And it's something that I'll cherish forever. And I think we'll be able to really make some effective change with this, with Brunch and Conversation. And I'm excited to see where it goes. And I'm excited to see where, you know, Can I Be Vulnerable goes, and then in the new ventures that you have coming up too as well, BJ, and by any means necessary, if we can help, let us know.
Sounds good.
Thank you all again. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And
bring us back on the season finale
for the recap, for the reunion.
Definitely the reunion.
Reunion, right?
Get it for the reunion.
Brunch and hip hop.
Are we gonna turn up on this one?
Kickback. I think that would be dope. Like it's over to bring everybody.
Kelsey, why you say that behind my back?
I'm gonna come ignorant on that one though. We not ain't no vulnerability. Okay.
Yeah. Just come have a good time.
No, we covered the good time.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, peace. You guys have a good day.
All right.
All right, bye. Bye, brother.